Okay, so today I wanted to go ahead and make a video for you guys that dealt with factoring. And I know some of you have been having a hard time, so hopefully seeing a few examples of factoring will help. The first type that we are going to deal with is when A equals 1. And when I say A, I'm referring to this equation right here with ax squared plus bx plus c. So if they're of that form and A equals 1. The first numbered problem that we will look at is number 23. And it looks like this. Y squared minus 13y plus 12. Okay. So in order to better understand this, I'm going to define what A, B, and C are. So here, A equals 1, B is a negative 13, and C is equal to 12. So what we want to do when we factor is to find what multiplies to C but adds to B. So in order to do that, the first thing I'm going to look at are the number 12 here. And we're going to see if we can figure out what multiplies to 12. So we're just going to start, we'll say 12. Okay, so what multiplies to 12? Well, we have 6 and 2. And what I want to look at now is there any way that 6 and 2 can be added together to get a negative 13? And the answer is no. You're either, if remembering that the 12 has to be positive, so either these would both have to be negative or they both have to be positive. So that's not going to be an option. And then I have 3 and 4. That's not an option. And then I have 12 and 1. Okay. And when you see the 12 and the 1, you go, well, if they were both negative, negative 12, negative 1, then I could put that together to get a negative 13, and they would multiply together to get a positive 12. So that's the one I want to work with. Now, in this case, when A equals 1, it's just as easy to factor this by using the negative 12 and the negative 1. So all you have to do is say y minus 12 and y minus 1. And that's it. That's all there is to that. Okay, now let's try another one. Let's try number 35. Okay, so for 35, I have x squared minus 7x minus 30. Here, A equals 1, B equals a minus 7, and C equals a negative 30. Okay, so now I'm going to look at 30 and think about what multiplies to 30. So I have, and I want a negative 30. So you'd have 6 and 5, and we would have, 15 and 2, and then we have 10 and 3. Now, I can't put 15 and 2 together to get a negative 7, and I can't put a 6 and a 5 together to get a negative 7, but I can put it together here. One thing to note is that if your middle term here, meaning the negative 7, your middle term, when you're looking at your factors here, the number with the largest absolute value will have the sign of your middle term. So here, I know that this is going to end up being a negative 10 because I want this up here to be negative. So here, this will just factor into x minus 10, x plus 3. And that's all there is to that one. Let's go ahead and try one more. Let's look at 31. So this one is x squared minus 8x minus 15. Okay, and with this problem, A equals 1, B equals a negative 8, and C equals a negative 15. Okay, so now let's look at factors for the 15 here. So if you have a negative 15, think about what can you multiply to get that? Well, there's 1 and 15, and there's 3 and 5. There are no other options available for that, okay? No other possibilities. So when you are looking at these, you're going, well, geez, can I put any of these together to get a -8? Well, and you might initially look at something like this and say, yes, I can. I can put a -3 and a -5 together, and I can get the -8 that I'm looking for. But the problem that we have with this is if you multiply a -3 times a -5, you get a +15. That is not the same as a -15 up here. So with this particular problem, we would say that this is prime. Okay? Meaning it cannot be broken down into factors that are integers. Might be possible to do it with fractions, but not with just integers. So we would say it's prime. Okay, one more example here. And we're going to look at number 43. So with 43, what you want to try and recognize right away is that this is the initial problem. Okay? And you'll notice that, you're going, first of all, there's a negative out there. Second of all, it's not written in the correct order. So what you want to do here is rewrite this in descending order. So put the w squared out front, minus 18w plus 45. And then go ahead and continue to break it down. So a equals 1, b equals a -18, and c equals 45. Okay, so now let's go ahead and break down the 45 and think about multiples for that. So we have 9 and 5. You've got 15 and 3. That's what comes to my mind right away. And when I see this, I'm going, I could put both of those together with a -15 and a -3. If I multiply the two negatives, I get my +45. And a -15 plus a -3 gives me my -18. So I know that that's correct. So when I factor this, it'll be w minus 15 and w minus 3. And that's it for that one. So that's the case of factoring when a equals 1. The next video will be factoring when a does not equal 1. So watch for that one next.